Yeah. There's just a bunch of different ways I could spend that $199 in a better way. And so speaking of that, I'll segue into my next thing on my mind, which is F1. Kendall, are you into F1 at all?
Man, I literally at Jimmy's shop on Saturday, he had a hobby box of Formula One and Topps Chrome, and I was sitting there and I was like, Jimmy, I see this, and anytime I see anybody open it, just straight bangers are coming out of it. Just like people just getting super wealthy off of cards. And so I'm like, I want to get into it, but I don't have any knowledge of racing at all. Like the most knowledge I have on racing is NASCAR, and I don't think there even is NASCAR cards. And so I'm just like, I'm completely lost. I know that there's like one guy that is like the chase card that he drives the Mercedes Benz, I think. I'm so lost. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Go ahead and school me on
Let
F1.
me let me just make a few points because literally like 3 weeks ago, I was exactly where you are with it. Where it's hard to learn a new sport. Like we're gonna attempt it in a minute with MLS. Like MLS is it's not a new sport, but it's gonna be a new league to
It's a
learn
new
about for a
market.
lot of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, and it's hard to learn that. But the thing I like about F1 is there's 10 teams. Each team has two drivers, so there's only 20 drivers,
Okay.
and it's the same 20 drivers. I mean, unless somebody gets sick or something weird happens with a car, which does happen from time to time, of course, but for the most part, you've got the same 20 drivers for the entire season. And you're mentioning Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's he's basically the goat of the sport, but then there's also Max Verstappen. And I've learned about a couple other guys that are going to start to. So I put Lewis Hamilton on the sports card investment report
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah. I
weeks
saw
ago.
that.
So
Uh-huh.
go to nooffseason.com, everybody. Check out the sports card investment report. I put a lot of time and effort into that. It's getting better and better. You can get the top 25 for free. You can get my shallow analysis on each of the top 25 for free, but then you can upgrade for a little bit of money every month. You can get far deeper analysis, and you can get the top 100.
I love
And
how you
I'm
put it on the
about to
front page
move.
too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that was you're a user experience guy. You've got the technical background, so I made a decision to upgrade the user experience rather than having to have somebody click into the main part of the site. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna feed that grid right on the homepage, and
Yeah.
hopefully that'll help. And we've had more and more people subscribing every week, slowly but surely. So
Heck
I'd
yeah.
really appreciate it if people check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the price point. But I mean, for the most part, I think you get a good value, and so would love for everybody to go to nooffseason.com. You'll see it right away. But I'm about to, and Kendall and I have been alternating weeks with Kendall as the co-host, and then we've had Greg Longto from Canada, and he's big into F1 and soccer and a little bit of basketball. And so Greg and I have been talking a little bit of F1 on some of the shows, and he's lobbying me to get some more drivers in the top 100, and I'm finally going to do it. By the time this show airs, there will be probably at least three more drivers in my top 100, and you're gonna have to go check it out to see who is in the top 100. There's probably going to be at least one, maybe two more in the top 25, just because it's actually very easy to follow as a sport. I've only watched a couple episodes of Drive to Survive on Netflix. I
Yeah. I was
did
just about to
tune
start
into the
that.
race. Yeah. It's a little bit hard to watch unless you're like if you're doing something else, it's hard to watch because you've got the
Yeah.
like it's just this constant like so I can't like multitask with it on because I'm always like, oh, like it scares the crap out of me. But like if I'm wanting to just not do anything else and just lock into a show, it's great. And I did actually just follow the race, the Bahrain opening week race this past weekend, and it's just simple. I mean, it's simple to follow. Like it's not like you don't even really have to watch the race. So I kind of like it from a sports card investing standpoint because you can uh the way that Topps did the Topps Chrome release 2020, which has obviously been massive, They've got the RC logos on for a couple of guys, Lando Norris and George Russell. You've got George Russell is now Lewis Hamilton's teammate for Mercedes.
Okay. Okay.
So there's like player movement. So like I would say it's simpler to follow. It's simpler to get into if you don't know anything else, because it's basically like you're limited to the amount of news that can happen. You're limited to the amount of teams. There's no like deep benches. Like it's very straightforward. It's like I said, 20 total drivers. And then if you research a checklist on Cardboard Connection, which is like where we all go to research checklists, basically, it's easy to follow the checklist. You know what I mean? But they do a nice job. And the 2021 release just came out. So now I'm finding that, and I'll leave F1 on this note, and you could tell me what you think. So you probably, like a lot of people out there probably don't know this, especially if you don't know anything about F1, but there's actually F2 and F3. So that's kind of like F2 is like AAA, and then F3 is like your high A, low A, or double A or whatever. And so what's cool about that is for the Topps Chrome 2020 release and for the Topps 2021 and Topps Chrome 2021 releases for F1, they've each included F2 drivers. So if you do a little bit of research around who the top F2 drivers are, and maybe like even better yet, like who won F3 and then moved up to F2 and maybe is in the checklist.
So is there a promotion and relegation?
Yes, but it's not like soccer. It's just more like free agency. It's more like open free agency. Each driver signs a contract, and when your contract is up, you can move on to another team. So there's driver movement, player movement, and then the owners of the, each team has like a manager, a staff of like different mechanics and different people that do pit crew stuff. Because I'm an F1 beginner. So for those of you that are F1 enthusiasts, you can drop a comment below and kind of correct me. But I think that so the owner and the manager can kind of work out who their drivers are. If the team wants to change drivers, they can figure that out. So they can move F2 drivers up to F1. And there's a guy who's going to be making his appearance in the top 100, and his name is Oscar Piastri, and he's a current I think you'll like this, Kendall. He's a current F2 driver. He won F3 last year, and he's in the Topps Chrome and regular Topps 2021 checklist for F1 cards. And so he's got the Future Stars designation. There's no RC on it because he's not an F1 driver yet. But all of these cards, dude, they're all like rising constantly. It's like that's the scary part is how expensive these cards are. And that's why I haven't put them in a top 100 yet, is because they're so expensive. But like this guy, Oscar Piastri, who's 20, he's from Australia. Like if I told you that I'm debating bidding like $750 on a out of 50 chrome gold refractor auto for this like basically no name guy, but could be the next like big F1 guy. Like, I don't know. Would that surprise you? Like, am I crazy for that? This is what I spent like all day yesterday, pretty much up until the Michigan State game, thinking about like, do I get into F1 card? Like, do I buy F1 cards? And if so, like, how do I do it? Because they're so expensive. Do I put the money down on these expensive cards, or do I try to go with like who the next guy could be? And even if I try to go with who the next guy could be, to get his banger card, like you still got to shell out a bunch of money. So F1's crazy right now, and I'm starting to follow it big time because I think it's going to be a big part of the hobby. If it isn't already, it's going to continue to be huge. So
yeah, I'm looking at a Oscar Piastri card out of 25, and it's buy it now at $1,000. That's awesome.
Crazy,
like,
man.
I mean,
it's crazy.
I might just go and buy some wax and just start ripping, because like I like, so anyway, what I was talking with Jimmy about at the shop was I was like, I think I'm going to buy some of this wax and just hold it for a while because F1 is taking off and I don't really know enough to rip and realize what I have in my hands. So if nothing else,
Yeah.
I have some of that wax, and then if I do down the road, get further into this, because it's funny that you wanted to bring this up. I just put it on my Netflix, like, next to watch list or whatever, and like I'm about to dive into that, knowing that this is another avenue that I could potentially be making flips on. And because I'm going to probably spend more time researching it than most other people, that's typically how me and you guys like us end up making good plays, is you're listening to a podcast about sports cards for 2 hours while you swim, like that one guy who
Yeah, I know. I love it. I was like,
I
first
was
of all, I
like,
was like, swim? What kind of
yeah.
headphones do you have?
First
Maybe
off, I
I'm
was like,
missing
who
out on
swims
something.
for 2 hours? Like, good grief, bro. But
Good for you, man. Good for you.
yeah, I'm proud of him, Maybe we should buy sports cards of that guy, number one swimmer. But
No, number one swimming multitasker.
but I was also blown away that somebody would want to listen to me for 2 hours. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to make like a larger play on having some of this wax, just potentially because if I am going to get into it, I want to be able to have some invested interest there. But also, if I do get into it and realize, hey, there is sports that I've gotten into and realized, hey, I'm not really interested in this product, and it's like I'm going to have to keep up with this way more than I need to. So I'm just going to not invest here. So like, I have done some of that in the past, but I think with what you're saying about 20 drivers, there is an F2, F3, there is some sort of minor league play here. I think this is something that I'm going to take a look at over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully I have a lot more to say about it in our next episode.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is going to be really good content for everybody to follow too, because I think this is for people like you, and to a lesser extent me, who like know what we're doing, or have established like at least enough knowledge to be confident enough to be lending advice to people about sports card investing. Going into a new, and we're about to do it with MLS, like going into a new part of the market, puts us all in a level playing field, which then is fun, and then then the content is like, well, here's what I'm learning. Like, I don't know this, I just learned that. Like, so like, and I think we'll segue into see if we have any pickups that we can talk to before we get into MLS for dummies. But like, I'll talk about a mistake that I made yesterday. Like, I was just trying to dip my foot into this F1 investing waters, and I didn't know that Topps actually had like a regular Topps paper release for F1 in 2021 and a chrome release. So as I was bidding on Oscar Piastri cards, I realized that there was like an aqua numbered out of 399, and I put like way too high of an offer on it, thinking that it was part of the Topps chrome, and it was actually part of Topps. So product. I didn't spend that much money yesterday. And I think I'll end up being okay. But I ended up basically like, I bought like 2 Topps paper Oscar Piastri cards, thinking I was getting a really good deal on chrome. And then I realized like, oh, this is paper, not chrome. Hopefully it'll work in the long run. But for now, everybody getting into F1, make sure you're buying from the right set or buying the right hobby box, and you're it just goes to show you're never really going to get a deal. You're always going to pay market prices or over market prices, especially with F1 right now. So those are my pickups. It's short. I bought 2 Oscar Piastri cards. One was $50 and the other was $9. It was one was a aqua numbered to 199.
You have your screen shared?
Yeah, I'm fine with that actually. So
okay,
and then the Oscar Piastri Future Stars checkered parallel. So there's a checkered, and the cards are different in the Topps Chrome release. So you wouldn't get like an aqua, you wouldn't get like a checkered thing. Basically, in the Chrome release, you're going to get the refractor, the numbered colored refractors, very few autos. So my whole like buy the rookie auto thing is like just not realistic. They're just so expensive because there's so few of them in F1. This has been great, Kendall. Good work, man. Everybody, thanks for watching and listening. We really would love it if you help grow the audience by subscribing to the YouTube channel, sharing the episode on social media, follow us on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy. Go to nooffseason.com. Check out the Sports Card Investment Report. Follow at Wild Cards Trading on Instagram. Go to the Facebook group Wild Cards Box Breaks on Facebook. Go to the Facebook group by going to sportscardstrategy.com and join the Facebook group. Click on the link. And of course, last but not least, go to marketmoversapp.com by Sports Card Investor and use the promo code NOOFFSEASON, and you will get either a bonus 2-week trial or you will save 20% on your first month. Kendall McKee, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, have a great day, and we will see you back here soon.
See you later, guys.